Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you. On behalf of Moneylife Foundation, I'm delighted to see such an enthusiastic turnout for today's seminar. Before we begin, may I invite Yogesh Sapkale, my colleague, to welcome Advocate Murali Neelakantan with a bouquet of flowers. Sir. Sir, please. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Now, before we get into today's discussion, we have something fun and different planned for today. I'm sure most of you already know our WhatsApp number. So if you want to take a part, if you want to take a part in this, I'll ask you to send your name, your date of birth, your address, and your phone number to our WhatsApp number. So our WhatsApp number, if you don't know it, it's 70451 56415. I'll repeat it again. It's 70451 56415. So we want you to send your date of birth, your name, your Aadhaar number, and your residential address. We'll have a surprise gift for you at the end, randomly picked out from the numbers that we get. So now coming back to why we are here this evening. We are living in a time when our personal data has quietly become one of the world's most valuable assets. Every click, purchase, or login tells a story about who we are, and that information is being collected, traded, and used in ways most of us don't fully understand. Today's session is about understanding why our data has become the new currency and what that means for privacy, our choices, and even our freedom. We couldn't have asked for a more qualified speaker to guide us through this conversation. So without further ado, I'd like to invite our founder trustee, Ms. Sucheta Dalal, to introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for being here today. As I said on Twitter, this is such an important seminar, and if you don't know why it is important, you really need to worry. So we are lucky to have Advocate Murali Neelakantan to talk about this, because it's something that this is a fight that he lives, okay? He doesn't want Aadhaar, and it's something that he's been fighting, apart from the fact that he is dual qualified as a lawyer, both as an Indian advocate and an English solicitor, with over 3 decades of experience in cross-border transactions, intellectual property, and corporate law. He was among the very few Indians to become an equity partner at a leading international law firm in London before returning to Mumbai in 2008 as senior partner of Khaitan & Company. In 2013, he became Cipla's first global general counsel as part of its senior leadership team, helping the company navigate international growth and complex regulatory challenges. He also later served as global general counsel for Glenmark from 2017 to 2018. He's been recognized in the who's who of the world recommended by Legal 500 and ranked among the top 12 mergers and acquisition lawyers in India by who'swholegal.com based on client and peer feedback. His area of expertise span policy advocacy, healthcare, life sciences, pharmaceuticals, arbitration, cross-border legal strategy, and he loves to deep dive into issues, and he's one of the few lawyers who spends a lot of time in public interest causes. With this, I now hand over to Mr. Neelakantan.
Thank you, Sucheta. Thank you, Devashish. Thank you all for coming here. Sucheta put out that tweet to say, if you don't know why this is important, you should turn up. I thought it was a really interesting way of pitching the idea. And it's particularly an issue now, primarily because each of you now uses at least one device. So let me start with just understanding how you use your devices. But most importantly, the question is, how many of you really don't care about privacy? You don't think it's a big deal. So I'm trying to ask the question that Sucheta asked, you don't really think privacy is a big deal. I have nothing to hide, so why should I care? Is there anybody here who feels privacy is not a big deal? I have nothing to hide. I am the ideal citizen, and therefore I have nothing to hide. So everything that anybody wants to know about me is an open book. Many politicians claim that. I wonder if there are a few in the audience today. No? Shailesh bhai? It's a good one. So you don't mind handing me your phone, house keys, locker keys, bank passwords. All of these, I'm just giving you a list. Yeah. You're willing, and this is a very interesting way of looking at privacy. Thinking of privacy as property. And I will come to that at the end of my talk. But this is a really interesting one. I want all of you to think about it. How do we think of privacy? But I have a list of questions so that I understand where you stand on it. How many of you would give your phone number to strangers? How many of you have not given your phone number to strangers? Let's understand that. So we know at least 50% of you are doing it, but not willing to admit it. Look at your phones, look at your WhatsApp messages now, and tell me you know everybody who you have messaged and who has messaged you. How many of you can claim that? Sorry? Yeah, so you've given them your number, therefore they have messaged you. Correct. Very good. But how many times have you given numbers to strangers? Too many times. Please don't tell me you haven't. How many of you claim that you have never given a number to a stranger? No. Knowingly, unknowingly is a matter of conscience. When you went to a restaurant and they asked you for your number, did you give it to them? When you make, no, even not a reservation. You go there, sit down. As soon as you get there, they ask you for your number. Have you given it to them? No, you never given number to anybody in a store, courier guy, speed post. You never given numbers to any of them? Sorry. I'm just asking you a question. Yes or no is a simple answer. We're not debating it. I want to know somebody who has not given it. How many of you have not given it to a stranger? It's a very simple question. And he's your friend? That's the question I'm asking. Stranger. No, stranger. That's not the question. We're not debating this. I'm asking a simple question. Have you given your number to a stranger? It's a simple question. Yeah, as I said, we're not here to debate. It's a simple question. Look at your WhatsApp and the messages you received and think if you know everybody who sent you a message. Do you know all those people who sent you messages on WhatsApp? Even the ones you have clicked. Good morning joke, Rahul Gandhi joke, all of those things that you get on WhatsApp that you click through the day. You think it's funny. Somebody sends you flowers, Jai Shri Ram, some temple video. Lots of these things come around, right? And you click on them even though you don't know who the person is. Because it comes from a group. So somebody somewhere has got access to your WhatsApp. How many of you use your mobile numbers for UPI and don't use the scan QR code? How many of you have not done it? Not used phone number for UPI? So vast majority of you are using phone numbers rather than the QR code for UPI. How many of you have picture of Aadhaar card and photocopies of Aadhaar card? How many of you don't have? Easier. You don't have a picture and you don't have a photocopy of your Aadhaar card. I want to know who doesn't have. Very good. 2 in the whole room. picture anywhere. On the phone, in your iPad device. You have no photograph, no picture, no PDF of your Aadhaar. Very good. We're not debating. All I'm saying is, do you have photocopies? Do you not have photocopies? And not have photo of your Aadhaar card? That's the simple question. Here's two of us. Very good. How many of you have given your phone number when entering a building? Apna complex, this, that, and the other. How many of you have not done it? My gate, Apna complex, same thing. How many of you have not done it? Refused to be photographed and refused to give your number. Any idea where I'm headed with this? No. I'm just reminding you how generous you've been with something that's very private. How many of you have apps on your phone, play games, send you jokes, tell you whether you're a happy person, you're a strong person, confident person, introvert, extrovert, all of these things that come out? How many of you have these apps on your phone, games, which give you rankings, everyday rankings? How many of you have it? Only a few. Very good. Astrology. Give you astrological forecast every day. Personality tests. How many of you use Google Maps? Okay, how many don't? Here's a test for all of you who use Google Maps. Next time you get on a plane, you think it will work? It does. Your phone continues to track you on Google Maps even when you're in airplane mode. So we know exactly where you are. I know, it seems very difficult, right? I do it every time I fly. So when you're stuck and they're keeping you on hold up in the air, you won't know how quickly you will land. And you have no idea. Look at your phone. If you're outside Pune on that loop, you know you're not going to land for another half an hour. So please think, your phone is in airplane mode, you're at 36,000 feet, and Google Maps is working. You must ask yourself, how? How are they able to track your phone when you're in an aircraft moving at a considerable speed and at a great altitude? Think about it. How many of you use Gmail? Okay, how many don't? Much easier. Yeah, I have Hotmail, correct. So Gmail reads all your emails so that it can help you answer your emails more efficiently and help you sort it and file it more efficiently. So Google's already reading all your emails. How many of you have done these lab tests where they give you 1,000 rupees, full blood, this test, that test, lipid, kidney, liver function, this, that, and the other? How many of you have not done one? Not done a blood test? Sorry? Doesn't matter. How many of you have not done a blood test recently? In the last 5 years, not done a blood test, not done hospital visits. So, all the data that is your health data, you have no idea who's using it and how. They have a full record. Have you ever wondered what they do with it? After they have done the test for 1,000 rupees or 999 or 599 or whatever it is, cost of a pizza, what do they do with this data? It's never occurred to you, right? That this is useful data. Just think. I'll come to that. How many of you have CCTV at homes, apartment blocks, schools, colleges, offices? Exactly. And who has control over that CCTV? And what happens to that CCTV recording and footage? That's what you think? Really? It's a good thing. If it is, it's a wonderful thing. That's not the problem. Now think about all of these things you've said yes to. So everything you do now can be identified to you. There's nothing really, thanks to what you have done, that is personal anymore or private anymore. If you look at all your phones and go to the microphone app and look at it, you know how many apps have access to your microphone? And how many are constantly listening to you? How many of you have smart TVs at home? Yeah, almost everybody does. They're all voice activated, which means they're constantly listening to you. What do you think happens to all of that? So 24/7, everything that's happening in your house, there is Alexa, Siri, TV, all listening to you. And this is all useful data. They know what you're doing the whole day. Every word that's being spoken, not just by you, but by everybody in the house. So if I call and you put me on speakerphone, I am also in that. If I'm on that network, it's listening to me. You're all using those home networks, which is supposedly helping you very much. So you're not only risking your private data going to a place you don't know and haven't consented to, but you're also risking innocent people like me who haven't consented to any of this. How many of you use fingerprint or iris to enter buildings, lifts, offices? Okay, it's a good sign. Most of you don't. But it's becoming commonplace. Most offices now expect you to thumbprint in and out or scan in and out. And do you ever think what happens to all of that data? The actual print and the actual scan, where is it stored and who has access to it? And how secure it is? I hope I've scared you enough. Well, there's more to come. There's more to come. This is all your behavior. You had choices, and you made these choices, and you've been handing over lots of data. What is it that you're handing over? You're handing over everything that you say, do, and mostly what you are. So all your behavior now is in many databases elsewhere. Somebody put out this great idea about maybe 10 years ago. They said, data is the new oil. And everybody got very excited by it. I also got very excited by it. But many of us are old enough to understand how oil came to be. What is oil now was some very harmless organisms many centuries ago, which have died to produce oil. Now think of data in that way. You are the organisms from which oil is being produced. So next time somebody says data is the new oil, there's nothing to feel happy about. If you realize that these are the organisms that are going to produce oil. The organisms never benefited from the oil. And oil is killing the future generations of those organisms. So it's a good line. Data is the new oil is a very good line. If you understand the context in which it's being said. Not as it's going to make Saudi Arabia millions. That's not how you should understand it. You should understand it as it's a risk to us and the future generations. Think of it this way. Who benefits from oil? Not the ones who created it. It's the ones who mine it, the ones who process it. It's the same thing with data. The ones who own it never benefit. The ones who collect it, mine it, purify it, and sell it are the ones who are going to benefit. So if you understand this relationship, then you will start changing your behavior, I hope. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. I'll come to that. We'll come to where you think you're compelled to. I'm still here. I'm still alive. Nobody has compelled me to do anything. And I have not done any of these things. So I don't use WhatsApp. I'm alive. I don't have Aadhaar. Still here. I don't agree to give my fingerprint. So I will take the lift and I will refuse to give a fingerprint. I will not enter an office if they want to take my photograph and take my fingerprint. So whoever has invited me has to find a way out. I will not give them my phone number. Whoever has invited me will find a way out. Else they can meet me downstairs in the lobby and it's perfectly okay with me. So we have the power to say no. We choose to say yes. If we say no, we can manage. And they will try. I get calls from Vodafone. I get calls from bank, credit card, insurance, demat account, constantly asking, sir, can you please link Aadhaar to? And I've said no. I'm still standing. So when you say we are being compelled to, I can compel you to give me your wallet now. You'll say no. You're willing to say no there. Can I compel you to give me your house keys? No. Then why do you feel compelled to give out this kind of information? I'm standing here, sir. I don't have Aadhaar. I'm standing here. I don't have Aadhaar. I think the power of no is something that we have not understood. We tend to say yes. Anyway, so I think I'd like to explain to you what the consequences are and what's happening with this data that you're handing out. And why is it important now? We've all been around for a long, long time. What is happening with the data now that didn't happen earlier? Why is it a risk now and it wasn't a risk earlier? In the old days, our data was available in different silos. So my phone number was in yellow pages at most. And for someone to do anything useful with the yellow pages, find the data, aggregate it, find ways in which they can use it, was virtually impossible. So it was used only for one purpose. Yes? And the purpose was very clearly stated, to find a phone number. It had no other use and never got used for anything else. A government department had me or a name with an address, and many times the name was also slightly different, the address was also slightly different. Sometimes it was old house number, sometimes new house number. Sometimes 2/3, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. So there was no way of actually identifying who I was, uniformly, universally. So I could be many people. I could have an address in Bombay, I could have an address in Bangalore. And they may not be able to work out that I am the same person who is living in both these places. I could buy an airline ticket as M. Neelakantan, N. Murali, and both would work. Nobody really cared. Same with train ticket, same with credit cards, same with bank accounts. I could have bank accounts with slightly different names. So nobody was able to really work out what my life was like. What was I actually doing? Because to each of them it was a different person and they never spoke to each other. Because it's impossible to speak to each other. They were all papers, ring binders, files in different offices. That was my protection against the state. The state does not need to know everything. It's only what I want to tell the state and is relevant for this transaction with the state that the state needs to know. Let me say it again. The state only needs to know what is relevant for this transaction. So there is an objective to why I'm giving you information. And once that objective is accomplished, you can't use that information anymore. That was the principle in the old days. And technology made sure that you couldn't do it more than this. So unless the income tax came and raided you, they couldn't find everything else about you. Otherwise, nobody else knew. Now, with all of the information you're giving, can all be aggregated. And you have, each of you has, what's called a digital personality. So they figured out, and lots of these apps have figured out, and everybody who wants to sell you anything has figured out what kind of a person you are in the digital world. And you may think, how do they know that? Well, every time you do anything on your phone, there are apps tracking what you're clicking. And so please go look at your phones and you will see how many apps are there that are actually looking into everything you're doing. Same with your laptop, iPad, whatever. So they can figure out what the keystrokes are. They can figure out where you're pointing, at what time you're doing it, what you did before, what you did after. So you're building a whole personality of you, a digital personality of you is being built. You may say that is not me. But as far as they are concerned, they know more about you than you do. So you've got each one of you in boxes. So let's say Surf wants to do an ad. It will go to these data brokers and say, please tell us how we can customize our ads better. So we don't waste money on YouTube putting out ads to the world and his wife. The data broker will say, yes, here's how you do it. We will carve up and say ads that are focused on people with washing machines will be given to you only if you have a washing machine. What's the point? Therefore, you get ads pointed to you which are front-loading washing machine powder. How do you think they get it? Because they know last month you bought Siemens front-loading washing machine. And you've been buying on Amazon front-loading washing powder. Surf sends you, therefore, an ad that is directed to you. And you may say, oh, this is very good, it's very convenient. So you don't have to waste time looking for front-loading washing machine powder. It can get worse. Interesting example, in the US, Target, the big chain of supermarkets, sends out coupons to a 15-year-old girl to buy baby products. And you may think, what's the problem with that, right? Well, she didn't know she was pregnant and her parents didn't know she was pregnant. But Target knew she was pregnant. So that is the depth, Shailesh bhai, when you say, what is the privacy? I assume you'd want to know if your daughter is pregnant before Target does. If you look at the content that's being put out to you, I just took a simple example of ads, but it can be misinformation, it can be disinformation, lots of lies. And once you click on one, indicate your preference, you're going to get more of that. So rather than get diverse viewpoints, they're going to flood you with more and more. And the more and more is not just in quantity. It's going to get more and more radical as well. So if you express a preference for something, they're going to push the envelope on that and see if they can move you further and further and further and further to the extreme. Not to the center, to the extreme. Because they figured out, all of us, like that little more, little more, little more. And so we're clicking, clicking, clicking. So when you see ads coming to you, but also you see content coming to you. So if you log into YouTube with your profiles, you will see a consistency of what comes to you and more of it, which you will not see if you don't log in. You can watch all of this without logging in. You can use Google Maps without logging in using Google. You can watch YouTube without logging in using Google. But we choose not to do it. So again, you're offering every aspect of your behavior to we don't know who. And this is just private parties. The next stage of this is the government gets all of this. And now you have to ask yourself, do I really want the government to know everything about me? And this is where Shailesh Bhai's question comes in very handy. How do we think about privacy? If we think of data as property, then you may think it's my property and the government will protect my property and they can't take away my data, so my property is safe. But that's an idea that is about 30 years old. We think about data and privacy as an aspect of life and liberty, not property. Let me say that again. Data is not property. It's an aspect of life and liberty. So, any threat to my privacy is not a threat to my property. It's a threat to my liberty. And this is not me saying this. It's not a new idea. It's in the Aadhaar judgment. It's a very important aspect of what the court has said. Unfortunately, the court's not been a friend of the citizen for a very long time. But the Supreme Court in this case said privacy is an aspect of life and liberty. Now you think of it differently. That are you willing to make concessions on life and liberty? And to whom? Another aspect of it comes from something very long time ago in the Supreme Court. And it was one of the early cases in 1950. Is can I waive a right that is guaranteed to me? And the court had a difficult time saying no, but they did. So, even with your consent, the government can't breach privacy. So now think about it. They have no right to the information, and yet you're delivering it to them on their doorstep and saying, please take it, please take it. You're begging them to take it, even though the law says you don't have to. And these are two simple principles of law that are not controversial. One is that you can't waive fundamental rights, and secondly, that privacy is an aspect of a fundamental right that nobody can take away, which is life and liberty. Where is this data being used against you? So all of you have some financial transactions, and you all have CIBIL scores. Now, I have a problem with CIBIL, many of us do, that they're an opaque, non-transparent organization. You can't talk to them. There is a number, and you have no idea how that number came about. So we already have that problem. And that is based on purely your financial transactions. Now just imagine if they decide to use all this other data that you're sending them to decide your credit worthiness. Now what happens? It's not cuckoo land, it's happening today. The fintech boys are actually using what you post on social media, what you post on WhatsApp, all your activities, where you're moving, to decide there is a new way of giving you credit or denying you credit. It's already happening. So please don't think I'm making this up. It is happening today. So everything you do now, all your behavior, all your friends, your family, your relatives, are all affecting each other to decide whether you're credit worthy or not. Let me say it again. Your behavior is affecting not just you, it's affecting everybody else. in your contact list and in your social media networks. And they're affecting you. So if you think you're the ideal citizen, well, please think again. Because the friends you have, those contacts in your WhatsApp groups, on Facebook, Instagram, they're all going to affect your lives. And in real ways, starting with your financial credibility. So it's going to affect you starting now. What rate of loan you get is going to affect you. What you're being sold at what price is going to affect you. So it's a very simple experiment. Find a friend, take 2 different devices, and book an Ola or Uber to the same place. I promise you, you will get 2 different rates. Why? At the same time, from the same place, to the same destination, use an Android device and an Apple device to book the same journey. And you will get 2 different prices. It's happened. You can test it. I have done the test. It works. Maybe. You have to worry about most things in the newspapers, but this may be true. How does Ola or Uber know on which device you are and how much you're willing to pay? Likewise, you all do online shopping, and if you have some friends, put different postcodes in the same locality. So, 7, 6, 5, in the same locality. Price shouldn't change, right? You'd be surprised. There are certain postcodes where e-commerce people will not deliver except on COD, cash on delivery basis. Why? I've done nothing. My credit score is very good. Why will they not deliver in my locality except on cash on delivery? Why will they not deliver in some places cash on delivery? Only prepaid. Odd, isn't it? That in some places, some postcodes, they will only deliver if you've paid in advance. They will not deliver cash on delivery. Why? Because people around you have not been honest citizens. And that's affecting you. So they have realized that you deliver to certain places and some fraud happens when cash on delivery on the prepaid thing. Either they will replace it with a stone and return it and say, I never got it. Some fraud is being perpetrated by customers. And therefore, they've decided that they can't sit and work out each one of you. You and your neighbors are all the same. So, you're being judged on the behavior of your neighbors for simple things like this. Likewise, try and book an air ticket, try and buy anything online. It will change dramatically depending on your location, depending on the address you give, depending on the credit card you use. All of these things are going to change. This is what they're using, your own data and the data of your friends and neighbors, to decide how to play with you. And they don't tell you this. So you don't even know what are they doing to judge me in the way I am. And if that is true or not. I don't know what data they hold. So I can't even go and fix it. It's like I said, Sybil, I don't know how my score is 370. They don't tell me why it's 370. What is the math they've got to make it 370? And how I can fix it? How I can challenge it and say, that's nothing to do with me. There's no system for that. So if you can't do it at just numbers, just imagine how hard it is to go and figure out how they are deciding based on data that I don't know they have, or what data they're using to decide. So you're probably paying more than you should for almost everything, because your digital profile says that they can hit you for that. So they figured out all the suckers. And they said, okay, we can hit these people and sell it for more than we could anywhere else. And we're going to do it. And the more you click, The more you're affirming to them that you're willing to play. So think again, all of your data, all of these conversations, Alexa, Siri, smart TV, social media, WhatsApp messages, are all being harvested somewhere. Now let's come to, this is just money, right? Doesn't matter. I can afford to pay $10 more for Ola, Uber, pay a little more for Surf. Doesn't really matter to me. I don't really need a home loan, so I don't care. I don't need a car loan, so I don't care. At what point do you start caring? Where does it start hurting you? It starts hurting you when the data they're using is completely wrong and you can't fix it. So, all of you should look at that. All of you have a certificate on your phone with Modi ji's picture on it. Do you remember? COVID certificate. If you look very closely, there is one small code at the bottom. Because all of you gave Aadhaar, right? When you got vaccination. Even though you had a choice not to give it, you all gave it, right? So you're now automatically enrolled and you have a health ID, National Health ID. Do you even know that you have it? Sorry? So please. Yes, sir. What no? You do, you don't know it. So please look at your vaccination certificate. Do you have it? You didn't get vaccinated? Oh, very good. Sorry? Yeah, so I was talking about the people who got vaccinated and have the photo of Modi ji on their phone. All of you, without your consent, got enrolled into a National Health ID. And it exists. I don't think any of you even knew that it was there. You didn't consent to it. But thanks to Aadhaar, now you're there. You had a choice at that time not to use Aadhaar. So, sir, when you say you were compelled to, you were not. You volunteered it. There are many people who got vaccinated without Aadhaar. So, forgive me for being a little unsympathetic to you lot when you said you were compelled, even when you were not. As I said, you didn't ask. A driver's license, PAN card. PAN card. The world was open for you to give any ID, government issued photo ID. All of you, by default, begged them to take your Aadhaar. Sorry? I agree. I agree. All I'm saying is, when some people say that they were compelled to, all I can see is from that old saying that was said about somebody, you were only asked to bow, you crawled. Now, once you're there, it's very difficult to get up. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll come to that. I'll come to that. There are, as I said, there will be a few, but we can get by without much of this. The number of people in this crowd who now need to enroll for EPFO is going to be a very small number. EPFO is for people earning less than 15,000 rupees per month. I don't think anybody here will qualify to now enroll in EPFO by compulsion. So in this crowd, I don't think EPFO. I'm standing here, sir. I don't think Nirmala Tai has given some exemption for Murali Neelakantan, senior advocate. We'll come to that. As I said, if you say no and say it often enough, I do it every day. If you're willing to do that, you can manage. But if you're willing to crawl, you'll never be able to get up. So we are back to the same thing. When you say compelled, can I compel you to give me your wallet? It's the same thing. Sorry? Sorry? I have PAN. I'll take that up with you offline. There is. Yes. But there are two things to say to that. I am an exception, but apart from that, where you have to link once, you don't need to do it anywhere else. Nobody else requires you to do it, and you can do it. What to do? So that is the one linking you have to do, but you don't need to hand out anything.
Yeah, but without Aadhaar, since you don't have Aadhaar.
I will answer that question offline.
Would also like to know that.
Sir, you've already all done it, sir, so it's not relevant. I'm just saying, since you've all done it, and there is no retracing from that, it's a question of pure academic interest. And unfortunately, there is no Fifth Amendment here. So I will pass on that one.
So I am aware of people who have filed in a wrong Aadhaar number. Okay, that I was aware.
There have been many of these. There have been many such hacks that have come out.
Hacks are a little, some of the hacks, because we had a non-resident client who was not eligible for, and in those days
Now everybody is eligible for Aadhaar.
non-resident.
You are. You can volunteer to have Aadhaar if you want to have it.
You have to be in India.
That's okay. When you come to India, you
But what do you do in meanwhile?
lucky.
You
You stay out and remain lucky.
have to file returns when your PAN becomes inoperative. So,
We will have that discussion. We will have that discussion. We will have that discussion. Sorry? Yes, we will have the query in the end. We will have the query in the end. The other thing I want to check with you is all of you who visit websites have apps. You know, there are these boxes which you have to untick. Do you actually look at those boxes? In the old days, you had to consent to something. Today, the box is already ticked for you. Even if you book an airline ticket, anything, the box is already ticked. So it's really an effort for you to read through it carefully. It only takes a minute and untick those boxes. But I'm fairly sure that none of you does it. Very good, very good. Thank you. It's a very simple thing to do. Look at it and say, I do not consent. It says that I consent to using for marketing, better customer service, value-added service, to get in touch with you for support. Nobody will get in touch to you for support. Have you had anybody call you up and said, sir, I'm sorry, you have a problem, can I help you? Has it happened to anyone? So clearly that is not why they're taking your data, right? They're taking it for a completely different reason. So it's a very simple thing. But we are lazy, and they know we are lazy. So the default is the box is ticked. And you say, I agree, or I submit, whatever it is. Okay, thank you. The summary of all of this is we've traded our own liberty for convenience. And that's what we've been told. You have consented, or it is very convenient. And we have bought it. Rather than say, I will suffer a little inconvenience, but I like to preserve my liberty. And the more people who say it, the more chances are you will get it. Because they will realize, this guy is a grumpy old man, I am not going to have to deal with him, just let him be. And I use grumpy old man advisedly, that's my Twitter handle. So I put it out there, that I'm willing to take it on, I'm willing to fight, I'm willing to read you the law, I will send you the CBDT notification, I will send you the Ministry of Information Technology notification which says don't give out Aadhaar. There is a notification that says don't give out Aadhaar. So you can't even say you're compelled to, because the government has issued a notification saying don't give out Aadhaar. So private parties, you don't have to give it at all. No, for private parties, you don't have to at all. That's the notification. We're talking about private people here. So to everybody you've handed it out so far to, the government itself says don't give it. And the number of places where you're compelled to will be one or two very small places where you can hand out, you can verify without giving Aadhaar. That's also possible. So, we have started using it like a passport. Give copies to everybody. And then you wonder why you're getting spam calls. Huh? Somebody said, no, spam messages, spam calls. You wonder why you're getting it. You shouldn't. You volunteered. You consented to it. So, if your behavior is such that you're handing it out, then people will use it. The other thing, when you say it's inevitable, you have to ask yourself, we are Vishwaguru, I understand. How is the rest of the world managing without it? It's not occurred to any of you? We are Vishwaguru, bright idea. Everybody else in the world is so stupid and so incapable of producing this. Have it occurred to you? Occurred to any of you? If it was so good and so great, why are the 7 other billion people in the world not doing it? They don't have the money. They don't have bright ideas. They don't have software people. They don't have technology. They don't have mobile phones. What do they not have? Think. What is it that they lack, that we have, that they don't have, any of this? And they all seem to be managing fine, right? Are they any less happy than us? Or less comfortable than us in the rest of the civilized world?
So the usual answer when we raise this is that America has social security, but
Yes,
it doesn't have biometrics. And China is much more invasive.
Yes. That's true. I mean,
that effectively leaves out about 4.5 billion
Yes,
out
yes.
of the 7 billion.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
1.5 is us, 1.5
Yes,
is
yes.
China.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, out of the 4.5 that is
Yes.
left, again,
Yes.
I think about 1.5, 2 are following us. We have the open standards.
Not yet.
We've published them, the open identification standards, etc.
But it's not open source in that sense. None
It's
of
not
it is.
open
It is
source.
not.
Okay. So,
So
anyways,
the
my
techies won't
point
agree.
is, in fact, the people who don't follow are
Yes.
now a minority.
And there is great virtue in being in a minority.
I'm not
But I will
debating,
address
I'm
this.
just-
I will
I'm
address
just
this
saying.
question. The social security number is private. It is issued by the government. It has no biometrics on it, and it does nothing other than give you social security. So it is not used for anything else. I can get by. I have lived without having to disclose my social security number to anyone. To buy a phone, I don't need social security number. To get insurance, I don't need social security number. To be employed, I need social security number so that social security can be deducted and added. It's like a PF number. It is no more than that. Or an ESI number, more like it. I don't know how many people will ever think of ESI in that way, but that was the original concept of an ESI, that you get 2 parts to ESI. One is medical care, but also a pension. So one part of that 8.23% goes towards pension, and some part of it goes towards medical care. That was the origin of ESI 100 years ago. And that concept remains in the US as social security. It remains in the UK as national insurance. I have lived 10 years. I've never had to use my national insurance number on anything. And it has never been used to sell anything to me or to identify me. It is only used to calculate national insurance, which is my contribution to national insurance. And I paid it even though I had no use for it. So I'm in this great position of having contributed to national insurance and never being eligible to get anything from it. And that's a blessing not to be eligible to get anything from it, which means I'm economically well off. So those are the 2 examples that you picked. They are completely unlike anything you have with Aadhaar or any of these apps. Please.
See, I mean, your focus of your conversation is on information being given via Aadhaar. Now, today, pose a Supreme Court directive that is not compulsory.
Yeah.
Then you have a list of alternative items, okay?
Yes.
Whether it's PAN,
Yeah.
passport, or what have you, driver's license.
Yeah.
You mean to say by giving out these, are we in lesser danger?
Yes.
We see it's the same level of danger, right?
No.
Whether it's Aadhaar or the other
Okay,
document.
it's a very good question. how I identify myself in different of these things is very different. And each of them sits in that one database. So for example, if I have a driver's license, the only place where the driver's license data remains and my information on the driver's license remains is Department of Transport. If that was all it was, then for the purpose of identifying me as a driver, they have that information. It doesn't go anywhere else. It doesn't do anything else. Having Aadhaar means you are able to create a 360-degree profile of my whole life because everything is linked to it. So it becomes the repository from which I can identify an individual and everything around them. So what you have done by linking is giving them one point of identity, which in the past was not possible. As I said, I'm different people in my different cards. So as a taxpayer, you have no idea what ice cream I eat, what movies I watch, what I'm scared of, what are my insecurities, what my financial position is, what my wife's financial position is, what my family eats. You don't know anything about my behavior. You only know that I am eligible to drive, thanks to my driver's license. It can't be used for anything other than that. Every time you link, how do you link this? You must find some common way of saying, this is Murali Neelakantan, and all these things are attributes of this one man. Aadhaar helps you link that. Otherwise, different people will see different aspects of me. So, when I'm driving, I'm a driver. When I'm paying tax, I'm a taxpayer. But they don't know anything about my driving habits. They have no way of identifying if this is the same person as that. As I said, I am Murali Neelakantan Iyer, MN Iyer. I could be different things. And I'm all of those. In the past, you could never connect any of those.
With all due respect to what you're saying, for example, an app like DigiLocker. Okay.
Yes. I'm coming to that.
You get your Aadhaar, you
I'm
get
coming
your
to
PAN,
that.
you get your driver's license.
Yes.
At the back end, I'm sure it is
Yes.
seamlessly integrated. So there is no safety for us at all then, by that logic.
There isn't, which is why I don't have DigiLocker or DigiYatra.
It must be integrated.
It is. It is. And there is therefore the risk that the more you use each of these things, the more you're helping them affirm who you are. And that is your digital personality and digital identity, which you may disagree with. You may be vehemently disagreeing with that personality that they have created of you. And then I come to China. China has taken this exactly to that level, which is they will decide your whole behavior based on all this data that they've got. So they're now saying, we will not let you access certain apps because we think you're not eligible for it. You're not a good enough citizen. So we will decide whether you can buy certain items, whether you can live in a particular place, whether you can go to a particular school, go to a particular college, work in a particular place. We will decide all of that because we have figured out who you are and we know everything about you better than you know. So you have no more liberty. Now, that is maybe something that you like, that you don't want to take any decisions. You're willing to give up your liberty because the state knows it better than you. That is what China is doing. So if you think that a population similar to ours has done worse than us and willing to give up liberty, and so we should too, so that together we can form a majority, then that's a thought, that we want to be in the majority of a Chinese-like situation. I wouldn't wish it on you, and I don't want to be part of it, but clearly we like to be in the majority. That is the fear for you, that if you decide to continue with your current behavior, we will end up in a China-like position, that the state will decide what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot have, with every aspect of your life. So it is not just crime, it's every aspect of your life. What services you can get, what apps you can use, what phone you can use, what food you can eat, what movies you can watch, it's all going to be decided by state. It will just refuse to give you access to it. Where you can travel. And this is currently happening in China. So again, this is not scaremongering, this is currently happening in China. The people are being told, no access, I'm very sorry. based on what they're doing on WeChat, which is their equivalent of WhatsApp. So it's that deep. And all governments have the same level of technology to listen, hear, and monitor what you're doing. So that's already happening. Why do I say that it's a risk to life and liberty? Because there are orders being passed by government deciding what you can and cannot see. So we have takedown orders on websites, apps, all of this, thousands of them every day. How do they know what to take down? Because you're telling them what you're watching, and they're seeing what you're watching. And nobody's being heard. And despite a Supreme Court judgment saying that you can't pass these mindless orders, no bureaucrat can sign thousands of orders in a day. And especially a committee of bureaucrats has to actually apply their minds to it. What is the chance that a committee of bureaucrats will even meet very often? And if they do meet, will be able to get through an agenda of 1,000 orders in any reasonable 1 year, maybe? You think 1,000 orders can be passed in less than 1 year? But they're being passed every day. So what we are doing is informing the government on what we'd like to see, what we'd like to watch, and how we are reacting to it. And the government's response is, thank you very much, tell us more. We will take down the content that you can watch. Now go back to what I said earlier, which is that why are you seeing more and more of what you're seeing and less of what you might want to see but aren't seeing? Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. So this is the government's way of directing how you should behave. And one of the ways it's doing it is by not allowing you access to a whole lot of information. So what happens? The algo sees more and more and more and more and becomes narrower and narrower and narrower in what you're seeing. Therefore, you have less diversity of views coming to you, and then you're caught in that tribe. More and more of the same thing. And what is that more and more of? Is what the government wants you to see. And it's telling all of the sites, YouTube, everybody else, please hide all of this, please only allow this to come through. And it's happening to our Twitter handles. I'm seeing less and less of the people I follow and more of the people I don't follow. Why is that happening? Why is it that, 8 years ago I had 8,000 followers, that hasn't grown. I don't care about it. But friends of mine hadn't seen what I tweet and what I post. I don't see several of Sucheta's tweets. In fact, I have to look for them actively. Although I've been following her since the time we both had Twitter handles. So almost 15 years now. So there is clearly an effort somewhere to ensure that, I get the ads of what Shah Rukh Khan, this, that, and the other, but not. And yes.
Whom you regularly do something, and there ends the matter.
Yes.
And you can't get to see in the normal course your other friends.
I agree.
You specifically search and
Yes.
go and see. Even
Yes.
if you want to give a birthday greeting,
Yes.
it's happening.
Yes.
WhatsApp is.
Exactly.
And
So the point I was trying to make is, unless you're consciously aware of this and you're consciously making an effort to say, I will reach out and do this, there is a pressure from government, from these apps, to actually point you in a direction that they decide. Again, it comes back to, how do I express my freedom, my liberty? And the more you build this digital profile, and the more data you give them, the less chance that you will get to see what you want to see, and the more chance that you will be seeing what someone else wants you to see. To me, again, that's threat to liberty. Yes, sir. It's a very good question. Why can't we move to other apps? Why are we stuck on it? Yeah, and there is a good explanation for it. It's called the network effect. There have been others who have tried. So there was an alternative messenger service called Hike. by the Mittals, didn't work. There was a government-promoted alternative to Twitter called Koo, didn't work. There is Mastodon is there. Yeah, that's not the point. The point I was trying to make is, why is WhatsApp great in India, in the network it's created? Nobody in the US uses it. Did it occur to you? It's not a thing. And they're managing fine. They're all doing fine, right? I mean, they don't have WhatsApp and they're doing fine. So you have to ask yourself, you call me, I call you. Let's be civilized about it. Yeah, SMS works very well. Yeah, but I know. It's not, no, you just realized. No, you suddenly, have you still not realized that it is not free? You still not realized it is not free? I just explained it all to you. It is not free because you're gladly giving out data which money can't buy. It is not free. Every time you're playing free games, doing everything free, you're giving out huge amounts of personal data, and that's building a profile of you. I know what you eat, I know how you behave, I know what makes you angry, I know what makes you irritable, I know who your friends are, what your relationship with them is, when you're upset with them, when you're happy with them, when you're celebrating with them. I have your face. I have now connected your face from CCTV to Aadhaar, to the databases. So now I know exactly who you are, where you walked. I know everything about you. That's a gold mine of information. If I sat down with you for a month, I could not get all that. You could not tell me all that. I got all that now. And I'm going to use it because I have it. And I can also misuse it. I come to the last part, which is, it's a bit scary. And I say it's scary only because of the consequences being seriously affecting life and liberty, which is fraud. We've already had thousands of crores of financial fraud. How do you think it happens? It happens because you've freely given out information about yourself. How do they know that you can be conned? Because you clicked some websites. I'm interested. Click, click, click. Get free gift. 10 rupees gift. You clicked. 1 spoon they will send you and you clicked. Free gift. Play a game. Astrology. You clicked on all those things. Cashbacks. Whatever it is. You clicked on several of these places and they know that you're ready for it, ripe for it. They also know about your family, right? So if you have relatives staying in the US, then there is the FedEx scam. They have access to your contact. So anybody can quite easily access your contact list because you have given WhatsApp access to your contact list. You remember when you got WhatsApp first, it says sync with contacts and you all eagerly pressed yes? Remember that day? Not only did you press yes, all those people on your contact list also are now part of that. So when I'm reluctant to give my phone number, it is because I don't trust you to play with it safely. Sounds rude, no? But now you understand. When somebody asks me for my phone number, I say, no, just, DM me on Twitter. Why do I say that? Because I don't think you will take care of my number. Why do I think that? Because you have not taken care of your number. Why do I not want to give you Aadhaar, PAN, bank details? It's okay, don't give me honorarium, just give me cash. I don't want to give you my bank details. Why do I do that? Because I don't trust any of you. and you have done nothing to earn my trust. So now you have this scam. They call you up and say there is a FedEx parcel from your son, daughter, cousin, nephew. Think, yeah, possible. FedEx scam happens. You have children, relatives staying overseas. Please send money. WhatsApp message comes. Urgently in hospital. Promptly 50,000 rupees goes. Then you have the digital arrest, which I'll come to last. If they didn't have your number and didn't know anything about you, you think you would have got that call? I don't get calls. I'll come to it. I don't get those calls. Why? Some police station, Supreme Court judge, nobody calls me to sell me, sir, your life insurance policy has now been renewed, is now ripe for redemption. Can you please give me your details so I can send you life insurance policy? Two things are happening. You're greedy and you like some free money. So you think, somebody's giving me life insurance policy. Okay, here is my bank details. Please send me the money. Before you know it, the opposite has happened. So, if you are honest, not gullible, not curious, and remain calm, and have no desire for somebody else's money, most of these scams won't work on you. But yet, lakhs of Indians have fallen for these scams. Click a link, get free prize. You have been selected for a free prize. Click. Show me people who will say no. Why should someone give you anything free? You have won a prize. Please fill in address, telephone number, so and so. Please, we will give you cash back 50 rupees. Take this survey and get 10 rupees. Tell me the number of people who clicked on it. Which, if you hadn't given out numbers to strangers, you would not get any of these. So two things are happening. You've given them lots of data. They know who the suckers are because they built a good profile of you. They know who's vulnerable. You have family overseas, FedEx scam. You have children studying somewhere, kidnap scam. Your son has been arrested in the police station, accused of rape. Now you must think, I know my son well enough, he will not do it. But then we think, well, do we really have rule of law in India? Maybe he's innocent, but are the police really good guys? Can there be a false case? Now we have a problem. I am confident my son will never do something like this. But I am not confident that the police will treat him fairly. So even though I believe my son's an outstanding boy, I worry that because we don't have good rule of law in India, which is true, it is possible that someone to harass me or him will arrest him, put him in jail, and will get away with it. And he will remain in jail for virtually his whole life, maybe, without getting a fair trial. That is the environment around us. And it is happening. If you don't know, please get out, speak to some people. It is happening. That people are being arrested on false charges, remain in jail for years, sometimes decades, never get a fair trial. So that is our fear, right? So I am a good citizen, my son is a good citizen. But the state is such and the people are such that he could be implicated in some false case. Therefore, I fall victim to the scam. It is believable now that it is possible that some police station has caught hold of my son, put him in a rape case, and I fear that because the courts are not going to help me, I'm not a celebrity. And even if you are, the courts helped Shah Rukh Khan's son. So it is possible that if he couldn't do anything, what chance do I have? So he may be in jail. And he may be in jail for many years. So I fall for the scam. That can I pay some money and get away with it? Even though I am innocent, my son is innocent. You fall for this scam. So they found vulnerability, father-son, using the lack of trust that we have in the government and in the state to perpetuate a very easy scam. And these are all scams that are in the lakhs. It is, give me 5 lakhs of rupees to set your son free. And people will do it. Not because they are guilty. I come back to this. Not because we are guilty. Because we are innocent, we will fall for these scams. And there is the urge to go off and do it. So the FedEx scam is one where drugs have come from your son, daughter, cousin, nephew somewhere in the US, has your name on it, has your number on it. We are going to come and arrest you unless you pay us some money. Again, I may be innocent, but since a false case can be put against me and I could be in jail for a very long time, I will yield to this. These are two very easy ones that have been in the papers for years on end, and people still fall for it. Despite being in the papers every day, people still fall for this scam. And the source of the scam is just these two things. They know things about you that they shouldn't because you've told them. And two, we just don't trust the state. We think policemen can do this, have done this, and therefore we're trying to get out of it. Finally, I come to the latest scam, which is this digital arrest. How does it happen? How do they know? It starts again with the same thing. You get a phone call, mostly WhatsApp video call. That's the fashionable thing to do these days, is a WhatsApp video call. Since I don't have WhatsApp, it is not a risk for me. But you should think, when you get a video call from an unknown number, what is the temptation? What is that curiosity to take a video call from an unknown number? I mean, you shouldn't take a video call from anyone, in my opinion.
The first call is usually on phone. They make you go on.
Exactly. So, take a call from an unknown number. I'll come to what I think are the do's and don'ts. But here is someone calling from an unknown number. I don't answer the phone. I don't think I'm so important that somebody who wants to call me will do something else that's going to hurt me if I don't answer their phone. So I don't see any upside to taking phone calls. I only see downside risk. What is the worst that can happen if you don't take somebody's phone call? They cannot kill you, right? What is the worst that will happen if you don't take somebody's phone call?
What happens when simple things like your Amazon parcel or something?
Oh, it's a very good thing. Amazon sends you a message. Amazon sends you a text message. If you're not on WhatsApp, they send you a text message saying your delivery will be by so-and-so number, so-and-so person. And thankfully, in our building societies, it goes to security and the guy calls from down from security saying, Sir, aapka Amazon parcel aaya hai. So I don't need to answer the phone. What is the worst that will happen? Amazon guy will go back. And you will get a message saying, reschedule delivery to whatever. You call Amazon and tell them, please send it 1 hour later. They'll send it 1 hour later. I'm willing to live with that. That my Amazon parcel could likely be 2 hours late or 1 day late. I don't need anything in 15 minutes. Or even today. I have a very simple life. I don't need anything urgently. Everything can wait till tomorrow. So, Amazon parcel, I don't have Zepto, I don't have Blinkit, I don't have any of those. I don't need anything in 15 minutes. So, it is possible. Minor inconvenience is, Amazon guy will call security, security will call me. It's perfectly okay. He doesn't need to call me. I don't need to call him. And I know when I'm expecting an Amazon parcel. So, life is very simple. that I don't need. So, coming back to it, why should you answer the phone from an unknown number? I will, it's a very good one. How do you think Truecaller works, sir? How do you think Truecaller works? It is people like you who put stuff on Truecaller. Give Truecaller access to your contact list. So the fact that your neighbor is on your contact list tells Truecaller that the number belongs to him. If you didn't say it, Truecaller would not know. So Truecaller's database is crowdsourced. It is all of you feeding Truecaller. And you have given Truecaller access to your contact list. Back to the same problem. You didn't think when you downloaded Truecaller to say, can't access my address book, my contact list. You happily offered it to them. They are now using your contact list to work out whether somebody is a spam caller or selling you something or the other. So, if you think Truecaller is a verified database, is only verified by people like you. And as I said before, I don't trust you enough to give you my number, so you should worry what Truecaller is telling you. It probably works very well if many of you list and give feedback when you get a spam caller. You write back and said, block, you go back, it tells you, gives you that red thing, and then you say, it's a business, it's personal, it's spam, you can write there. But if you try to find my number on Truecaller, I suggest, think of it. What do you think you will get? You won't get Murali Neelakantan. Unless some friend of mine has done something that you have done. You won't find it as that. That's what I said. So I have not contributed to that. I have some friends who have not been kind to me and allowed their contact lists on which I am to be on Truecaller, and therefore it may be there.
But they don't allow a reverse look. Truecaller does not allow at least to the public. I mean, they know.
No, but you can put a number and find out who it is.
That's right, but for that I have to know your number in the
Exactly.
first place.
But if you have, so Suchita, for example, bad example, but Suchita has my number on her contact list. Yes? If she allows Truecaller to access her contact list,
Right.
then Truecaller has it.
Yeah, so Truecaller will know it, but now if I want to know
So
your
if
number, I can't know your
not know my number. So if I call you,
correct, but for that again I need to know his number.
Correct.
How will I know it?
when somebody said Truecaller will be able to identify, I'm trying to explain how Truecaller is able to identify. Truecaller is able to identify not because it has some verified database. It is able to identify because some of you have said that it is spam. So if you take my number and 10 of you say it is spam, Truecaller will believe it is spam. And the fraud calls that you've got, what they do is add their profile as Prime Minister Modi on Truecaller. Truecaller will show you, Modi ji is calling you. You will answer the phone. I can't imagine what will happen next, but it is possible. So, Truecaller, please understand. Maybe. And their database is no better because they have not verified it. They go by the same logic. If 10 of you, as I said, tag me there as HDFC Bank, I become HDFC Bank. And I write my profile on Truecaller as CEO or MD of HDFC Bank, and 10 of you say yes, then the rest of the world, I am CEO and Managing Director of HDFC Bank. That is how Truecaller works. So, it is using you to build a database which is not verified and can be easily scammed. As I just explained to you, this is the way to scam Truecaller. If I am a scamster, I will put my profile as Commissioner of Customs and Central Excise, Mumbai Airport, and I will call you and say that we have confiscated some heroin that has been mailed by your nephew to you. Please come to the airport or wherever else. No, wait. That's a different story for a different session. So this is how, despite Truecaller, despite you having all of the supposedly protections that mobile devices offer, it's actually being used by fraudsters and scamsters to scam you. And thanks to what you have done, it looks very credible. So you come to the last one, which is now pending in the Supreme Court's worried about digital arrest. It's in the papers if you haven't seen it. The Supreme Court saying somebody has to do something about it, which is what everybody is saying. Somebody has to do something about it. Usually what happens when everybody says somebody has to do something about it? Exactly. Because they haven't said exactly what needs to be done. So all we can do is protect ourselves from it. But let me explain for those of you, how many of you have no idea how this digital arrest works? Oh, many of you know. Yeah, I'll come to why it works. Oh, this is fantastic. Most of you know. This is fantastic. So, Mali did one earlier on cyber scams, right? Prashant Mali did one. Excellent. And that was a very good session. I watched the video, and Mali is really good at this. He's one of those people who has a heart in his right place and does a lot of this good stuff, including on some cyber crimes also he did. So those of you who haven't watched, please watch it. It's a really good one. So how does it work? You get a call saying that you have a bank account in HDFC Bank. You say, yes, I have a bank account in HDFC Bank. We have found that terrorist activities have been funded using that bank account. And therefore, there is a charge under either National Security or Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, you have no clue. It is possible that somebody somewhere could have done something to your bank account. There is a real fear because anybody can do anything to our bank accounts. Again, this is the trust that we have in institutions is zero. So we believe it is possible. Then we start to get very, very scared. So we kya kare? That's the normal response, right? Because you think there is a way out of this. What would you like me to do so that you don't arrest me now? It's first response. What would you like me to do so that you don't arrest me now? The response is, please switch on the camera and give us the following details. You're in panic mode because you know that if you're arrested under national security or PMLA, there is no bail and you will be there for 10 years. So again, this is the trust we have in the state is zero. Therefore, you start getting scared. Innocent person gets very scared. Innocent person gets very scared. Same as the rape problem. So, switch on the camera. And there is a person who is a deputy superintendent of police. There is a police station, background. There are people moving around. There is the Ashoka pillar. He's wearing uniform. Looks very, very credible. And if you have the sense to actually check, there is a police officer of that name in that police station. So they have got it out quite well. Because now, thanks to the government, we can find out who is the policeman in every police station. It is meant to help you. But who is it helping now? So now we know DSP, whatever area, region, whatever, of this part is so and so. But there is no photo of that person. Have you noticed? Has anybody checked the police website? We know their names, but we don't know what they look like. So all I need is DSP uniform. Maganlal Dresswala. Quite close by, no? Marine Drive. Fully fitted. Topi, medals, everything. And we can make background anything. Huh? All of you who do Zoom calls, we can make it look like anything. So background is looking good. Ashoka pillar. Huh? all those signs, board, looks like police station. Have the call. And the guy tells you, listen, this is going to happen until we can verify all your bank accounts. So please give me all your bank accounts and all your transactions for the last 3 months. Okay. Please give me access to the app on your phone so that I can get all the statements. Because you don't have the statements with you, right? We don't have the hard copies of our statements, soft copies. So you say, I don't have it. So you will say, okay, give me access to your bank account. So then you give access to your bank account. And then the password. And then all your transactions, mutual funds, property, this, that, and the other. And then what do you think happens next? He says, we will need to check it. So please don't move from your location and keep this camera on so that we know you have not gone anywhere. So effectively, you are under arrest in your house, and they have called it digital arrest as an alternative to taking you to the police station and putting you there. Because now you think this is better than being in the police station. So you're volunteering to this, you're consenting to this. Because you think, thank God, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're thanking the chap that he has not taken you to the police station and arrested you. Huh? This is real. These are victims who are saying, who are not angry at that chap. They're feeling grateful to that chap. Yes, he's done a favor to you. It's worse. So then they're willing to hand over this money, any amount of money. We've had a case where the person has gone and sold an apartment in Borivali for 64 lakhs and taken that money and given it to these people. Because they have said that if we don't do all of these things and we don't have a good account of your money, then you will be in jail without bail for the next 10 years. So they don't think they're paying out money. They are thinking that there is somebody who just wants to scrutinize their money. And to be able to scrutinize it, it has to go into a designated account or some other scam like that. So they're handing out money hand over fist, thinking that money will come back. And these arrests have gone on for weeks, for months. Not days, not hours. And when people have finally discovered that they've been scammed, they're so ashamed that they don't even report it. So it is so good a scam that the victim is not willing to report it. You have some chance of catching the person if the victim reports it. If the victim goes away feeling, it was only a week, it was only 64 lakhs, thank you God for saving me. That is what most victims feel. Even when, and we were having that conversation, Sucheta and I, that even when family, other people have asked the victim, they go to a bank and withdraw 2 lakhs of rupees, then go back and withdraw another 2 lakhs of rupees. Some kind soul in the bank, very rare, but there are some, ask them, are you okay? Is there something wrong? Please tell us. No, it's none of your business. I'm perfectly okay. It has happened. It happens because we lack faith in the system working for us. So, the last bit, you will forgive me for doing the last bit, it's a bit legal and a bit theoretical. But I think it's essential to understand. What is our relationship with the state? With the government, the 3 arms of government, which are called state, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. When do we realize that the state exists because we want it to exist? The state exists because we want it to exist. And we decided that it should exist. We've forgotten that. We forgot we the people give unto ourselves this constitution. And that is how the state came into being. If we go back and understand the value of those words, we will realize that the state exists because we exist. We decided that the state should exist. State did not give us rights. All of you, please read the Constitution. We gave ourselves a state. State did not give us anything. Our rights existed before the state. State did not give us rights. In fact, if you read the section on fundamental rights, it doesn't say you have the right to life and liberty. It doesn't say you have the right to free speech. That is not how it reads. It reads, the state shall not infringe my right. What is it? It's a restriction on the state. It is not a conferment of my right. I don't need the Constitution to say I have a right of free speech. I already had it before the Constitution. Thank you very much. The fundamental rights are a restriction on the rights of the state, are not a conferment of rights by the state. If you understand this difference, the relationship now looks very different. Our fear of the state is making us do all these things. And once the state behaves in the manner it has been behaving, private parties also feel we can be like that. Banks also feel we can ask for Aadhaar. Every Tom, Dick and Harry courier wala can come and ask for Aadhaar. Ola, Uber wala can ask for Aadhaar. Because states allowed it to happen and we have consented to it. As I said, you're asked to bend, you started crawling, you can't get up. Because now we're in that state. It's a very fundamental issue. Sounds like constitutional philosophy. But if each of us rewires our relationship with the state, then suddenly our behavior will change. We behave as if the state is doing us a favor. And for those of you who are religious, I'll be a little blasphemous by saying, Hum hai to khuda bhi hai. You know, we have the Sufis saying that God exists because I have believed it to exist. God doesn't exist by itself and would not exist if we weren't there. So there is even that thought. So if you can say that about God, after all, this is just a state. Surely it's only a figment of our imagination, which we have allowed it to exist. Otherwise, there is no state. If we couldn't imagine a state, there would be no state. So I will leave you with this, that if you rework your relationship with the state, you will behave differently. Better things will happen to you. At the very least, you will save a little money. You won't fall party to fraud. And as I said, all those of you who behave in an irresponsible way are affecting not just yourselves, but all your family and friends as well. Now, what has the rest of the world done? This is all bad news in India, right? What has the rest of the world done? The majority of the world.
Majority is us.
No, yeah.
India and China.
Yeah. So, in the civilized world, as I call it, and you can test it, you have the right to know what data they hold about you. So all those of you who are on Facebook, please go and check. It will give you a listing of the data it holds about you. Not under Indian law. European Union requires you to do it. And therefore, you will know what data each of those people you have given data to holds about you. And you can decide that it should be scrubbed. So you have a right to withdraw consent at any time. So ask what data you have and tell them to scrub it all. It's called the right to forget. I have the right to ask you to forget me. Second, I have the right to correct data. So if I find a mistake in the data, and I will tell you, you have to correct it. I have the right to ask you what the objective is when you collect that data. And it is your duty, when you ask me for data, to tell me what the objective of that collection is. Then it is your duty, after I give you that data, and that objective has been achieved, to erase that data, because the objective has been achieved. So I give you data for a particular objective, which is you will deliver a courier package to me. After you deliver the courier package, please delete all my details, because you don't need it. Thirdly, we should stop thinking about it as consent. I have consented, you have consented, therefore, sorry, bad luck. It is virtually impossible in today's world to figure out what I am consenting to. It is so vague, no? All those boxes used for consumer feedback, consumer support, marketing, giving you offers, special deals. It's very difficult to know what I'm consenting to. So what worked as consent 30 years ago does not work as consent anymore. We have to find a different model. And the theoreticians in this space believe that since they don't know why they are collecting the data and they're using it for a variety of purposes, I don't know exactly what I'm consenting to. You treat my data like you treat nuclear waste, which is the strict liability. Something goes wrong, you go to jail. That is the only basis on which I'm giving you data. It's a well understood principle, which is data is now a hazardous substance. Please treat it like a hazardous substance, which is don't touch it, don't go anywhere near it. As soon as you've done with it, shut it down. Treat it like nuclear waste. I know it's a bit theoretical, but lots of countries are looking towards it on the harm principle, as they call it. That we understand that inherently data is such that it can cause harm to the individual. Therefore, if any harm is caused, you are responsible. There is nothing about whether you are at fault or not. You had the data, harm was caused, you are in trouble. The EU has used this to fine several of these guys billions. Google, Facebook, all of them have paid out billions in fines on the basis of potential harm. Unless we do that in India, and unless we punish all the people who are misusing our data, their behavior is not going to change. The vast majority of us are not going to change our behavior. Until we are stung very badly, we are not going to change our behavior. So we need both actions. Us to behave like we care, and the government to punish people who don't care much about our data. Finally, what can we do? This is all, you've all done what you have done. How can we fix some of these things? Don't log in. You can use most things on your phone without logging in. So if you're browsing, there are browsers other than Chrome and Safari, which you can find, which don't use your data and won't sell your data. So please look for browsers other than these two. There used to be DuckDuckGo, which is very good. Firefox slightly better than Chrome and Safari. Sorry? I'll come to that. So first start with better browsers. Next thing, when you're using the apps, stay on incognito mode, don't log in. VPNs are very cheap. It's not very expensive to get a VPN. It is just an app. It will save you from quite a lot of pain, especially nosing by government and private entities which use your browsing data. VPN will help you. You can pick any location. So my location can be Iceland when I'm browsing from here, and it saves me from disclosing a whole lot of personal data. Incognito mode is the same as not logging in and using some browsers which claim that incognito mode will not share data. Please search for an apology by one of the browsers where they have said that they've actually shared incognito mode data. So even though they're claiming it's incognito, they're actually collecting data. And they've come out and apologized for it. No, not allegations. They have come out and confessed. So this is not an allegation. Basic things, please don't hand out Aadhaar. It is not necessary. Yeah. So any app that you're using is collecting data. And anything that is free, as this lady said, is not. It's a very expensive thing. You'll discover it later. If you have to use Aadhaar, and there are only 1 or 2 places, EPF is one, income tax is another, it's done online. You don't need to carry it around anywhere. DMAT, you don't need to, because DMAT works on the principle that PAN and Aadhaar are already linked. So you don't need it for DMAT. I'll come to it. So there is no real use case for masked Aadhaar. If you don't need to use Aadhaar at all, why do you need to use a masked Aadhaar? You can live life without using Aadhaar. Lock it, lock the Aadhaar. Aadhaar allows you to lock Aadhaar so that nobody can use it. Please do it. So my claim is that you don't need to use Aadhaar. Once you've linked, the only essential purpose of it is to link to your PAN. Once you link the two, DMAT, bank accounts, everything are drawing from that database. NSDL draws from that database. And once you're verified, clicked, you're done. There's no need to do any more than that. I mean, they're all handing out photocopies. What is this? This is asking for too much. They've got photos and photocopies, both. You can lock Aadhaar. Use a password manager rather than your name and birthday as your passwords. It is possible. Password managers are free. They are quite effective. They create passwords for you and they will manage it for you. They can be quite difficult to crack, and it's not easy to crack it because the password that you get from a password manager is not intuitive. So please use password managers. They're free, easily available, well known. Don't keep all your data in one place, please. All your eggs in one basket, DigiLocker, this, that, and the other, not necessary. I mean, I'm sure I can find my high school certificate without looking for Digi Yatra or Digi Locker. I know where it is, I can find it and I can produce it whenever somebody needs to know whether I passed 10th class or not. There is no need. Likewise. For most of us, I don't think we'll need to prove any of these things to anyone, that I was in high school in the year 19 whatever. So Digi Locker, think whether you actually need it in DigiLocker. I carry my PAN card in my pocket. I can show it in the odd occasion that it is necessary somewhere. I don't think I need DigiLocker for finding what my PAN number is. I don't think it's necessary. So think of it that way. Do I need it? Can I live without it? That's my principle. I spoke about the others, which is don't take calls from unknown numbers. Very often with WhatsApp, the scam is it's from a known number. So they found a way in which they can pretend to be someone that you know. And they're using AI very well. So they are able to make these video calls. And it looks like your friend who's calling and asking you for money, of course. So it is possible that you're getting these calls and it looks very credible because that person is in your contact list. It even looks like that person because all of you have very sweetly put display pictures, right, in your WhatsApp. You have done it. Yes, yes. Very proudly, you've all done it. So now you know what that is leading to. So there is no doubt as to who your friend is because your friend has put beautiful picture and I can take that and quite easily morph it and feed it some normal lines. I know what you all sound like because Smart TV has already told me what you all sound like. So it's not a difficulty. So it's not very difficult to scam you and say, this is your uncle, niece, son calling, I'm in trouble, I'm in the hospital, please send money. Yeah, WhatsApp, no, location, and you give all these updates, right? Selfie with, I am in Kashmir, I am here, I am there. So they know whole story. They don't have to do very much research. I just look at what you're telling them. to know this. And they know, there is wife holidaying in a remote area in Leh. Fantastic opportunity. Call as the wife and ask for money. How are you going to say no? So these are all scams that have worked very, very well. And you all contributed to it, those who have been scammed. So they may be victims, but mostly they are co-conspirators. So don't click on links. If it's free, it is not. Scammers are preying on two things: fear and greed. I don't want to give you pravachan on it, but those are the two things that will get you scammed. You're greedy for money that is not really yours, or you're scared. And you can be scared even if you're completely innocent, as I've just demonstrated with a few examples. But these are two things scamsters will play on. Finally, here's a tip, especially for those of you who have loved ones who don't live with you. It's something I have with my son who lives in California, which is have a secret word or phrase that only the two of you know and you will use to challenge the other person in a sentence which can be very innocuous. So, and it has to be something very absurd. So, for example, you could say, I'm wearing blue shoes today, do you like it? I don't have a pair of blue shoes. He knows I don't have a pair of blue shoes. But it's a challenge to him. I have said this in a conversation. And if I don't hear the correct answer back, which could be another absurd statement, only Elvis had blue shoes, you can't have them. So unless you get both of these phrases, which are completely absurd, never going to be used in normal conversation, but they use as challenge phrases. And you get a response to it. You've seen it in the spy movies. It is something similar. That it looks like a very ordinary statement, but only the two of you know what the combination is. Don't put it on your WhatsApp message, DP. It is meant to be a secret between two people and have a different one for different people, so everybody in your family doesn't have the same passcodes. So this I would encourage, especially when you don't have family staying with you, there is a risk of all of this happening. Please follow these very, very basic 5 or 6 things. I'm not guaranteeing you'll be safe, that's entirely up to you. But there is a fair chance that you might get out of it if you follow these rules. Thank you very much.
No, finally you have to stop there for a moment because you made us pull a scam on the audience. 70 people responded.
You come and tell him about it. you
talk about it.
Before you
yes.
finish, the new DPDP Act that's come, okay, it claims that it has
it doesn't do any
lots of principles from the...
It claims the rules have not yet been notified.
Right, I am aware. Yes.
So until we see whether all those principles are there, in the Act...
Are they there in the Act?
No. This is why we're waiting for the rules. And they have notified some draft rules.
Okay.
Many of these are not there.
Okay.
And there are too many exceptions. So, for example, government is exempt.
Right to forget.
Government is exempt.
Okay.
That defeats the whole purpose. That's, for want of a nail, a kingdom was lost.
Sir,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much for alerting us.
Yes.
Telling us that our data is actually our treasure. One of the things that you've been telling us is that all the data collected and how the government can, channel us into certain behaviors or whatever. But I must just remind you that Australia actually used this data to bring out a new rule, and that was that children below the age of 16.
Yes. Again, every government will claim that all of this is necessary to protect you. Again, I'll go back to constitutional theory on this. The state is meant to do its job, not ask you to do its job. So the state can't ask you to provide data so that they can catch criminals. It is their job to catch criminals. It is their job to provide national security. It is not my job to do it. If I had to do it, I don't need the state. So every excuse that the state has to say, we need this to protect you, we need this to save you. We were saved much better before all this, right? And you are the state, you won't do it. Don't outsource your work to me. What you're doing now is asking me to police people, asking me to help out with Truecaller. It's your job to catch criminals, not my job to help you with it and give up my liberty. Yes? No, I don't. That was a question that has been asked, and I said that I will not answer it. I know. We just have to have many students stand up and say no. Isn't it? It is just like students have to stand up and say, I will not give you my fingerprint to enter this class. I know. I know. And there is a Government of India notification which says that you can't demand Aadhaar for enrollment in courses. But people aren't willing to fight. As I said, somebody issued a notification, told you you have to do it, and you offered. You have to stand up and fight, my friend. It's a matter of life and liberty. We need more students to fight. Yes, sir.
While opening...
Guys.
While opening an account, it is told to any consumer that
yes,
there is a mandate to provide the Aadhaar.
Correct.
Is there any RBI circular or any guideline from Act or law perspective that it is not mandatory to provide Aadhaar?
Yes, Supreme Court has said it's not necessary.
By chance you have any reference number or something?
Yeah, the Purswamy judgment, there is a constitutional judgment. So the answer to this question is this. When somebody asks you, ask them, show me that notification. Where it is compulsory.
Fine. And another...
And you will find that it will be one of 6 things that you can provide.
Okay, thank you. And
so the answer is always no.
Yeah. And potential consumer, can he complain the same case to banking ombudsman?
Sorry, this is outside scope. Write out a full story. Somebody at Moneylife, I'm sure, will help you with it. Thank you very much.
I request all of you to wait for 1 minute so that we can do a proper vote of thanks for our speaker. I think it's a basic courtesy. And many of you in the beginning, I think 70 of you gave us the details that he asked, which is your birth of date, Aadhaar number, whatever. At the end of this session, I'm sure all of you realized it was a mistake. We promised you a gift. At Murali's insistence, we played this trick on you, and 70 of you have responded. So I assure you that we will delete all that data. And since you all have so innocently shared it, we will still pick 3 winners and send you a copy of our book. But you have been scammed, okay? You should not have given that information, even to us. And now I'm handing it over to Akshay for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Advocate Neelakantan, for that insightful and thought-provoking session. On behalf of Moneylife Foundation, I'd like to express our deep gratitude for taking the time to be with us this evening and sharing your expertise with such clarity and conviction. A heartfelt thank you to all of you in the audience for joining us and engaging with this important discussion. Your continued participation and support means a lot to us. I would also like to acknowledge our partners, our knowledge partner, Silver Innings Foundation, and our media partners, Free Press Journal, The Leaflet, and Bar and Bench. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you at our upcoming programs. Have a great evening and safe travels back home.
Second,